Hi guys, Assalamualaikum. I hope you guys are ready. Today we are talking to Ustazah Shameem Sultana. I've actually heard a lot about her, and I've heard a lot of her her speeches, and I've heard a lot of her talks, right? Tapi I haven't really had the chance to talk to her officially in a setting like this, and especially not on a personal level. So I really am looking forward to this because she is really one speaker, one asatiza that I would say isn't afraid to speak her mind. Okay, you know, if you haven't heard of her before, you'll hear her today. Okay, okay, she's here already. I'm gonna put her in. Okay, I'll just give you a bit of introduction of Ustazah. Okay, because we do screen our asatiza a lot. Hi, Ustazah.
Hello,
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Ustazah, I'm gonna give a bit of introduction to everyone who's listening about you. Okay.
Okay,
Maybe in case they haven't this is their first time with you ke, you know.
okay,
Okay.
can.
So
So
Ustazah,
you are giving the introduction or I'm giving the introduction?
I'll give you introduction for you.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
alright.
So especially because how do I put it? To me, I value education a lot. So when we look at we choose Asatiza to talk on our topic, we really look at where have they studied, and for Ustazah Shameem, her background is actually quite varied. So let me see. So she actually, you went to boarding school kan in Indonesia, right? Where
Pesantren
you got
lah.
your
Yeah.
yeah, in pesantren, right? Where you got your diploma in Arabic and Islamic studies. And then she pursued her BA in Islamic jurisprudence in Al-Azhar University in Cairo. And I was actually talking to my sister the other day about how to be an asatiza, you really that experience in Cairo and in Arabic country, it really matters a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ustazah.
Yes, it shaped you. Yeah, definitely. I think, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not
That
just what you study in school, it's out there also. Yeah.
I see, I see. There's one more thing you guys need to know about her, okay? Because after she graduated from Al Azhar, she went to pursue a diploma in counseling psychology in Lee Community College in Singapore. Why did you do that, Ustazah? I'm just
Why did I
curious.
do that? Oh, okay. I think basically I was a new ustazah. I face a lot of issues. I am talking to people, dealing. There are rulings and all that. But how
Mm-hmm.
do you present them? How do you answer things? And I realized that counseling psychology is a need lah. So when I studied that, I was able to blend both. It's not just about this is halal, this is haram.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
see, I see, I see. Okay, Ken. Let's give a bit of introduction to the topic today because when I shared the poster, like I was sharing with you the other day, kan, Ustazah, that your poster is the highest shared and I think it's the most in demand topic. Even the number of viewers today seems to be more than the other asatizas.
Alamak, nervous ah.
No, I think you've dealt with bigger audiences, so I think this is just a chill session. So I want to talk about why the topic first. Why I chose the topic because as someone who goes online publicly to talk about halal food and to promote halal food all the time, especially many years ago, in 2014, 2015 gitu when I started, I actually talk a lot about halal matters as well because of my previous experience as a halal auditor. So and then subsequently I get questions about I thought you mentioned this one is not halal, and then how come there are people who openly going there to eat, atau sometimes restaurants yang obviously they have differing halal standard lah, they are not the more widely accepted as halal, or the more widely accepted halal verification, I would say, in the community right now is halal certified, and and the verification that they are Muslim owned, is a Muslim owned. Then the society kind of accepts it as halal, and then they dine there. But there are obviously other verifications in the community, like for example restaurants who say that that they just use halal ingredients, atau they only use halal meat, then they don't, you know, you get what I mean? Atau yeah, that kind of differing standards, I would say. To be fair, I'm not gonna say that any of them macam is tak halal or what. Let's just say that whatever they claim is true, and then and they basically want to tell you guys that, yeah, exactly, that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. I just want to say that I use halal ingredients, full stop. So now the ball then turns to the consumer side, right? Us as Muslim consumers. How do we marry this differing acceptance levels of halal, I would say. Yeah. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, right? And I think before anything, I will let Ustazah do the intro to the topic first.
I think you've done a wonderful intro. I think that's awesome. Many of us here, I think, stay in Singapore, where we have like a food paradise here, mashallah. And a lot of us are still struggling with this halal, whether I can eat this, whether I can eat here, whether I can eat there. I think this is a very this is an awesome topic. Thank you for having this initiative. It's actually not as complicated, right? Is it complicated? No, right? Whether it's something is halal, whether you can eat here, there or not. It's not complicated. Is it complicated for you?
It's okay, to me it's not very complicated because I'm very clear of the decision I make. But I even through halal food and also I'm not too sure whether macam my preferences are very obvious. But yeah, for me it's not very complicated lah. But if I were to macam openly share what I deem or accept as halal, I would say there will be people who call me halal Nazi lah, macam you're so strict lah. So, but yeah. I have my reasons lah. I have my reasons for choosing but then again, my reasons stem from the fact that I was a halal auditor before. You know, I was involved in the halal certification process and stuff like that. So macam there are things which I know which is not public domain lah, you know. And I'm not sure whether sharing that openly is a good idea either, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then also ada orang pun tak cakap juga macam, you know, it's not so easy because like even though they do not accept certain food items as halal, they still eat or they still choose it. They still choose to consume it because of other reasons. Like for example, they are at work and then when they are in a company event, everyone eats at the place, so why not all eat there as well, you know, the kind of thing. Yeah. So yes, I don't know. I really very confused, Ustazah. So how simple or how complicated should this be, Ustazah? Yeah.
Actually, if don't base on me lah, let's base on our Prophet lah. We go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. Our Prophet in the Hadith, Rasulullah SAW actually said that innal halal bayyin wal haram bayyin. What is halal is quite very clear. It's not even quite, it's very clear. And what is haram, what is forbidden is very clear. So in fact, halal and haram is not just in food lah, it's in other things that we do also. So whatever that is halal is quite clear, and whatever that is haram is actually quite clear. And what is in between is called the things. I think you have a talk with Ustazah Nazira, is it, about shubha, right? What is in the in between. So if we can see this, and we are supposed to stay away from the in between lah, okay, the shubha. But that means here Allah gave us a grey area to make the choices. We are supposed to stay away, but you have decisions, you know, according to your knowledge, according to your upbringing, to actually make decisions based on this. So whatever that is halal to you might not be halal to me also. Like for example, eating in maybe a non-Muslim vegetarian shop, eatery. Okay. For me, eating in I'm Indian, alright. So eating in an Indian Muslim or Indian shop, vegetarian shop, which is not a Muslim shop, is actually perfectly fine to me. Okay, because they serve only vegetables, they don't serve meat, they only serve mock meat, which is made of tofu and all that. So it is perfectly fine to me. But I'll find it different. I mean, if I were to go to an eatery of Chinese vegetarian shop, because I'm not used to it. But it doesn't mean that that is not halal, you know, that that is not permissible. So it really differs and everything. So I think Allah gave us that gray area to play around with, as in to make your own decision. The what is halal is very clear, what is haram is very clear, and then stay away from what is shubha, but make a decision, a sound decision, you know, like for example, you can't have everything like have the label halal. You can't have every shop, you know. I think that is for assurance. People like me lah, I'm not as rajin as you. People like me, I think just go, okay, go halal, okay, just go and eat, you know, that kind of thing. As long as it's certified, it give us that assurance that everything is halal. I don't have to go through the menu. I don't have to go through anything. I don't have to ask anything. I'll just sit down and eat. But of course, you know, if there is no halal there, and that give us an extra job to do, and then to really look at it whether it's halal or not. I mean, I've been to places overseas where they claim that it's halal, but when we go and we see the buffet, it is not. So it is it's not. I mean, we were quite surprised. We were in the hotel, then they said that there is halal, you know. Then we go there and then we see, okay, there's pork and everything. So basically, I don't blame them. Maybe the definition of halal itself, even us Muslim, we sometimes, what is halal? What is really the things that we can eat? So so basically, it's back to us. We have to make that decision, gain that knowledge, whether and then from there make that decision whether that thing is halal or that thing is cannot be eaten. And if it's, you are sure that there's something forbidden in it, then we just stay away from it. I think that's why I think it's not a complicated process. It's a very simple process. And something which is even haram, something which is forbidden, can be made halal actually in times where you know there's no other food to eat and you need to leave. You know, even that haram food can become halal. So you know, this is the beauty of Islam. It's not supposed to tell you that, oh, I can only eat halal food, I cannot eat this food which is haram. No, actually it makes things easier for you. There's always a logical explain why certain things are not permissible to eat and all that. And even if you can't find a logical explain, Allah knows best why certain things are not supposed to not be eaten, and why certain things have to be eaten in certain ways. Yeah, I mean, my take is it's actually a simple thing. Allah giving halal and haram food is actually a very simple thing. You don't have to complicate stuff. I think people like you, people like mashallah, you make things even much more easier for us. You don't have to go to the Quran, you just go to halal food hunt, you know, mashallah, then you know. So it's simplified for people like us. So it's like mashallah lah. I mean, it's much easier. I remember when I went to New Zealand June, when I went there, I had difficulty. That time was 12 years ago, to find halal food. You don't have, you know, that in Singapore you can see halal is it Malaysia or Singapore or something, but down there you really cannot find. And in fact, even the butcher, they just write halal butcher. They don't even write anything else. So it's like at that point of time, I think we go back to the maxim how Islam teach us, al-mashaqqa tajlibut taysir. When there is a difficulty, hardship begets facility. Hardship begets facility. So whenever there's hardship, there's difficulty to find food, then we should not make things harder. We should make things easier, and we should just you know, use whatever that we have, whatever knowledge we have, and okay, I can only eat this is halal, so bismillah, I take this, I eat this. So I think Islam is simplifying things for us. So it's not that difficult lah. What is halal and what is haram?
Okay, I have two questions from what you just mentioned. The first question is, tadi you mentioned that the understanding of halal, that macam you know what you can eat and what you can't eat, right? Tapi eventually then sekali after we are bombarded with so much information, sekali again we ask ourselves, what is halal? Then we find that we are ourselves find that it's we hesitate to answer lah, because macam it's not clear tau. Kalau today I go to the street and I just pick any Muslim and then I explain, and then I just point the mic to them and say, can you explain to me what is halal? They will actually hesitate a bit before they answer. It's not like clear cut, like I'm so sure of this or answer. So then there is this different understanding of halal. So I wanna talk about like macam the differing verifications that I mentioned tadi kan. That exist in the community lah. Because one question I always get in my DM is people will screenshot, hey Jones, this influencer who is Muslim pakai tudung, right, go and eat at this restaurant. Can you tell me whether this restaurant is halal ke tak? Okay. Because it's like if it's halal for her, then it should be halal for me, right? That's the logic lah, you know, because we are in the same community, same culture. So if it's halal for her, then it should be halal for me, what? But she's not sure, so she screenshot this influencer makan kat mana, and then will send to me, and then after I'll say and ask me lah macam halal ke tak, halal ke tak, Jones. Then after I said okay, so if I say it's halal, you're gonna eat there, is it? So that is the first. And then the person literally said yes. Like if you say it's halal, I will just eat there without a doubt. But after I research on macam the place that in question, and this is many places, I will find out things like, oh, they are actually not halal certified, not Muslim owned. They sell like, it's not like culturally like what you mentioned. You know that if it's an Indian shop that sells vegetarian food, culturally the food doesn't involve any any ambiguous ingredients lah, I would say. Tapi kalau it's not that culture, it's a culturally macam dia jual steak, you know, dia jual that food that culturally will contain non-halal elements in it, right? Flavorings lah, they use alcohol in the cooking, stuff like that. But the restaurant clearly states that I use halal meat, right? So how do we marry this society? I'm looking from like the society perspective, like how do we marry this differing acceptance level of halal? Like as a Muslim consumer, what do I make of that? And also that is from Muslim consumer, but for me especially, Ustazah, I need your advice. Like what should I answer to them? The people who have me.
You mean okay, let me try the food, let me go there, or you ask the influencer yourself. Okay, you know, like what you say, if you go around and ask someone, just randomly you go to Juchat ke apa, you ask, Ci, what is halal lah? They'll be like, you know, basically they said, oh, maybe the simplest thing lah, okay, whatever they say, or maybe they be quite wary, because nowadays you see the food is not very straightforward. Like how we had during the time of Rasulullah SAW, the food is quite straightforward. Now, a lot of foods are being processed, a lot of byproducts, a lot of, you know, other things, a lot of things happen, chemical reaction and all that lah. Okay, so it complicates stuff. So we as Muslims also, we have like, we think twice. You know, we start, if something is not halal, we start to look for the ingredients, we start to scrutinize. Luckily, alhamdulillah, we got Google nowadays, or you know, you can scan things and find out whether things are halal or not. But the thing is that if we ourselves don't know what is really halal and what is really not, how do you expect non-Muslims to know? So if you go to a shop and say we sell halal meat, the thing is that the halalness is not just the meat. It's everything that you use to cook in the kitchen or to cook that meal. And even a small percentage of it might you know, change the status from halal to not halal. So it's like, that's why I say it goes back to us. When you have an eatery and then you see someone eating there, I think I've seen a lot, and I think we stay in, you know, in Singapore, I've seen a lot of, I mean, tudung lah. Talk about tudung. This tudung is like a sign. You go somewhere. I'm scared to go inside somewhere.
My tudung is a halal set.
Yeah, I saw a chocolate shop and it was not halal shop, but the chocolate was so tempting. Actually went inside to just see the chocolate thing, and then my husband was like, "Hey, you better be careful. Someone will take picture of you. You know, you go to this shop." So I was like, "Hey, yeah." So I stepped back. So it happened to me because it looked really, really nice. Like those chocolates kind of like wafer, is it? I don't know lah. Then so it's really it's up to us. It's up to us as consumer. For us, I think we need to make the decision. We need to see. We need to stop blaming whether it's halal certified, whether it's what. But for us to do our own homework. for us to ask, talk to the people, look at the menu, see whether what they use, are you using any alcohol or is there something that you use. Having said that also, Jooms, you can see that like Muslim-owned restaurant, Muslim-owned eateries, right? Do they really use halal 100%? Wallahu alam. I mean that we do not know because we sometimes without, I mean as a baker, for example, I cook. I'm a master chef at my house only lah. So when I cook myself, I sometimes benda ni halal ke tak halal, benda ni boleh makan ke tak makan, and we learn from from cooking. Well, before this I cook, I didn't know that when I start baking, then I didn't know there's a difference between vanilla essence and vanilla extract. Okay, it's something very small, something which if I bake a cake, you can't even see what I put inside. Okay, but it's the one is halal and one is not. If I put gelatin or not, if I don't use gelatin or not, what kind of butter I use, etc., etc. So it's like it can come from a Muslim own, like a Muslim can cook it, but does that Muslim have that kind of knowledge that whatever I put in is 100% halal? Or maybe there is another non-halal food which is cheaper compared to the butter which is halal. So I might as well take the butter which is not halal, wallahu alam. So seriously, I think we should not just leave it to whether there's a halal shop or whether it's Muslim owned or what. We should do our own homework. We should when you want to eat, this is something that's going inside you. So you when you are sure that it's halal, then you eat it. Talking about that, we also must have certain level of trust lah, If let's say Jooms now give me pizza ke, give me, I wouldn't be saying where you get your cheese, what kind of cheese is that, that kind of thing, like I mean you give it to me, we don't ask that right nowadays. Iftar people give food, cik beli ayam kat mana, kat sebelah siapa sebelah dia, we don't want to ask that, right? So we go to people's house, we have that kind of level of trust, we eat, we assume that, we don't even assume, we trust the person. So that is another level, that we trust whatever Muslim own, whoever cook is halal. And then if let's say it turns out not to be halal, let's say yes there are non-halal products, that or ingredients used, then it's actually not our problem anymore. We consume it, having that yakin that it is halal. If it is not, okay, it's the person who cook it that is answerable to God lah. So I think that's why it makes things easier to just in the time of the Prophet, when they couldn't find the Qibla, it was dark, everyone actually prayed different Qibla. They actually faced different direction. When morning comes, when it was brighter, they realized that everybody prayed a different direction. So it was everybody prays at the wrong Qibla. But Rasulullah SAW did not tell them to repeat or repeat their salah, because at that moment you use what you have, your knowledge, to your best to tell yourself this is the Qibla, so you use it. So I think that's what we have to be. We have to be consumers who are very confident, seek knowledge, know what we are eating, know what we are feeding our kids, we know what we are feeding our children, our family, and especially for mummies, we all the people who select things at the market and NTUC and all that. So we should be very this is the time where we seek knowledge, what is halal, what can be eaten, and then what is the not only halal but tayyiban. Allah always associate halal with tayyiban. That means it has to be good food, nutritional food. And then we use whatever we can. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if an influencer finds that halal for her. Khalas. It's her job, it's her choice. She might have done whatever she wants, her homework and all that. We don't say, alamak influencer ni no. She has done her job. We baik sangka lah, jangan buruk sangka. Now for us, we have a choice whether we want to go and consume from the same place or not.
Okay, so here we say that, okay, so let's say if an influencer has gone, let's say I go. You see me personally eat at a restaurant that is not macam verified or typical halal, you will accept as halal. So you should assume that I've done my job of verifying that the food is halal and I'm deciding to consume it because I accept it as halal, right? But at the same time, we must also understand that my tudung or my decision is not a halal certification for the whole community.
Yes, very true. Yes, I think Yeah, that's very true, Jums. I think I mean people like us, the moment we see tudung lady or what wearing, because this is like our religious marker lah, very obvious everywhere we go. So it's the moment, oh how come got tudung lady you know, but I think they have done their part. I mean we just we do not know what they are purchasing. I maybe I can share, Jums. I was in New Zealand, right? At the South Island, or is it North Island? We were driving North Island. It was extremely cold and I was very hungry. So we were driving long ride at night. There's only a petrol kiosk. There was no halal food. But I needed something hot to drink. So there was hot chocolate there, you know. At that moment, there were other things which is not halal, but I only bought the hot chocolate. That was the only shop there. And I really needed something to warm myself. So it's like at that time, at that point of time, I went into a non-halal shop to buy a hot chocolate. But there are other things that they are bacons, they are what, but I just buy the hot chocolate. So you get what I mean? So people can see me as a tudung lady going in a non-halal shop buying, but they do not know that actually I'm buying a hot chocolate. So all you buy mineral water ni.
That is like the best halal, most halal choice of food item available there lah, kan? That you're making. I want to also mention something that you I want to share something in addition to a point that you mentioned earlier, yang tadi you cakap you master chef in your own kitchen. Lepas tu when you are cooking tu, then you question every ingredient kan. I just want to share something lah, because this actually happened in our office, because you know we have our app kan. So our app actually verifies for Muslim ownership tau. So that verification for Muslim ownership is not a matter of I tanya, are you Muslim owned? And then after that you say yes and then I mark it as Muslim owned. No, for ours kan, we actually require them to submit documents to say that your business is Muslim owned, like your claim is true. Second is we actually require them to sign an agreement to say that you as the Muslim owner, that you are responsible for all the food that you sell, that it is halal. So when they realize that, oh, that is the process to be on the Halal Fund app, right? Some most of the time it's okay lah. They just go through the entire thing, sign the entire form, and then just go in and be a verified merchant on Halal Fund. But two funny things sometimes happen. One is they just disappear entirely and keep quiet.
Okay.
So that means in the community they are known and all that. Tapi when we ask them for verification, they choose not to provide the verification. Tapi for whatever reason I don't want to sangka buruk or whatever reason, you just leave it. But the second thing that happened was the most funny one actually. Because they have to sign this form, right, to say that I guarantee the food I sell is halal because I'm the Muslim owner. Wait, a few times it happened. Ni home-based business lah. They were like, oh, alamak, I have to sign this form okay, I changed my ingredient.
Oh really? Oh, Masya Allah. That's good. Besar tau amanah want to sign that. Oh. Masya Allah.
Yeah, so that was, so when you mentioned that that your situation at home, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what happened to some of the bakers. They literally say that, okay, I'll change my this particular ingredient. I'll change my this particular ingredient. After that, baru I put my brand on halal food.
Oh, Masya Allah. That's good initiative. Masya Allah.
Yeah, so it's not how to put it. We don't check. I don't want to go into that in depth to say that macam we don't trust Muslims. Like I want to protect this sacred trust between Muslims. So basically when they see that legal document that they have to sign, and they actively make the choice that, okay, actually for those of you guys that are listening, I don't want you guys to think of it as a bad thing. I would think of it as a really good thing. They're not shifting from non-halal ingredients to halal ingredients. It's more of shifting from shubha ingredients to halal ingredients. Like they ensure that it's halal versus they are okay with the grey areas. So grey area ingredients like what you mentioned tadi lah, macam butter lah, your flavorings, your essence and all that. So they will choose to they will actively source for halal certified ones rather than being okay with grey areas.
Wow, Masya Allah. I mean you just help them like increase their level of piety, like Masya Allah. Like we do this because we are conscious of God, right? Macam Mungkin orang tak tahu, but Allah knows, you know, I'm putting this. I can just sign and just give Jum, salah sudahlah kasih dia, you know, that kind of thing. But because they have the consciousness that, I know that this thing is like shubha, I can actually find a halal alternative. And that's when, you know, we too. I think that's a very good education for all of us. Because sometimes also, Jums, I have people telling me, Ustazah, I want to eat from this particular eatery. But you know, I really like it, you know, but and then I was like saying there are others who are like that lah. But no, I really like this only. But it's not halal. The rest are halal, but this is not halal. Can I do? I said it's up to you to choose. You know, but can you really do? I mean, it's very difficult for you to find out what they use. How can you find out? You know, what kind of products they use? You know, that kind of thing. So it's very difficult. So I said I go with this lah. In the Quran, Allah says la ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion. You cannot force people into religion. You cannot even force people to choose what they eat. You know, it's up to you. It's your choice. The thing is that okay, what is halal and what is certified halal, what is this. But at the end of the day, it's as a consumer, you choose what you want to eat. You are accountable for what you want to eat.
I want to share, okay, this bit also about you choosing where you want to eat kan. Macam and actually tadi when you mentioned this eatery tak halal, right? I'm actually very cautious whenever someone asks me that, like, can I eat at this eatery but this eatery is not halal? I always ask macam, what do you mean by this eatery tak halal? Is this eatery tak halal certified? You know, or this eatery legit tak halal, you know? So sometimes, most of the time, they are just saying that it's not halal certified. And it's not halal certified doesn't mean it's not halal lah. You get me?
Yeah.
You can still choose to eat there if you want, if you have done your homework and you have really macam done all the research that's needed, right? But then again, like what you aptly mentioned, how can you ever tell what ingredients they use beyond what they want to declare, right? So I don't know whether I should share a controversial story, but before that, I want ada banyak halal controversial and
I can see, you know, you are reserving it. No, you don't know how to let it go.
Cannot lah. So if I share all this, nanti riot ni. Cannot. But I just want to share one conclusion which macam I'm getting from your advice tadi. That is your choice to choose like what you want to eat, no matter what the verification is given kan. Tapi when you choose to purchase it, example macam bubble tea kan, when bubble tea is like grey area lah. But if Jums, me, decide to queue up at a non-halal certified bubble tea shop, okay, then I buy, okay. When I buy and I consume, it is a halal endorsement. I mean, it's a signal that I am telling the business that is selling that your food is halal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking, I mean, like the person who are selling be like, because have you heard people say, people itu don't buy also what? How come you don't want to buy? That means it's halal now, you know, that kind of thing. Yes, so they assume that, you know, it can be eaten.
Yeah. So and that is the and that actually macam dilutes the, how do I put it? It dilutes the meaning of halal, I would say. You know, so the more Muslims purchase at a restaurant or an eatery or a brand, right? The more Muslims purchase from there, it is an endorsement that they are selling halal food and that legitimate halal is legal lah, halal kan? Kan?
Yes.
Kan?
It gives that, it definitely gives a message to them.
Yeah. So
like
therein the lies. I think, and therein lies the responsibility of every consumer decision lah. Because 10 people might be making their own individual decisions, but because collectively 10 individually they make the same decision, it is as good as endorsing it as halal, kan? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And on a lighter note, the other point that I gather, because I need to check my understanding with you again, that let's say someone has been led to believe that it is halal. Like for example tadi, like the restaurant wants to sell, they want to put their brand on Halal One app. Lepas tu they just sign the declaration, say that it's halal, then they just submit to halal food hand, and then after that, because some eateries are on halal food hand, our consumers purchase, right? Purchase from there and consume. So that means consumers are led to believe that the food is halal despite these few people yang macam they knowingly use non-halal ingredients lah. So that means that once that happens, the onus is not on us lah as consumers already.
Yes, it's
Right?
not on you. It's
okay,
like,
are we gonna be punished?
no, it's like, okay, your mother, let's take it as this lah, Jums. Your mother said, mari Jums, let's go to Cik Beda house. I don't know who's Beda. Okay, come, let's go and makan. You go to this Cik Beda house, you duduk, you makan, lontong ke, rendang ke, everything. You didn't ask the Cik Beda, no? What she cook, what she do. But let's say this Cik Beda, sorry for those people who pandang Beda. For the, she does use like, there's something like non-halal inside. Okay, but your mom didn't know. Your mom brought you there. Your mom know her as a friend. So your mom didn't know, your mom brought her there. Tapi she as a self, so she's accountable for it though. It's not your mom, it's not you. You go there because you know that it's you don't even assume. You don't even assume. You are confident that it's halal because it's a Muslim Muslim house. So it's the same thing as this. If someone sign and then they have given you your word, okay, that they are supposed to do everything, all the ingredients will be halal, but on their side they are not amanah lah. They actually still use things which are not halal. Then it's between them and God. And you know, that is one thing between them and God, because Allah says la taziru waziratun wizra ukhra. Another person will not take the blame or the sin of another person. So you won't take the blame or the sin of them, no, because they are the one who do whatever that is wrong lah. Okay, so that's one thing. Another concern which I always get from the community is, what happened to us then? We are eating the non-halal food. What happened to our blood? What happened to our salah? What happened to our ibadah? You know, this is like another level. I consume all this food. I thought it was halal. You know, actually it's not halal. What happened? Now we have to understand that even like I told you, even like things which are haram, alcohol, but it is permissible to consume at a time when you don't, when you already have nothing, you're choking, there's the only thing in front of you, you can actually consume it. You know, consume it just to make sure that you don't choke, to save your life. At a time when you actually consume things which you do not know, if you don't have, you are ignorant about it. You do not know, you thought it was halal, okay, but it's not. What makes you think that Allah is going to charge you on it, or Allah's going to like punish you for that, or make your salah not valid or something, you know? So it's we should have very positive thoughts. Like if someone do something else, something wrong, it doesn't affect us, okay? It's between them and God. And what we know is we have done our part. If we want to find out everything, susah lah, Jums, right? Cik Beda beli kat mana, you know, Cik Beda pakai ini tak, Cik Beda dah, Cik Beda, I will be like, oh my, sirap ni kat mana, brand apa. So I think we go back to the basis in Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah has taught us, you know, don't ask too many questions. La tas'alu an asya. Don't ask too many questions. In tubda lakum tasukkum. When you ask too many questions, when it's given to you the answers, it makes life difficult for you. So I think, I mean, yes, we are very cautious what is halal, what is haram, tapi not until scrutinize it until it becomes so difficult to eat, so difficult to even drink. I think that's why Allah doesn't make it difficult for us, make things easy for people also lah.
I think this is also one of the reasons why we refuse to ask beyond those questions. As in for halal food halal, we really refuse to ask beyond like we just want to know two things, like what's your verification and can you guarantee that it's halal. These two things and full stop. You like throw the ball to them, gasak korang if you do something wrong. Yeah, because it really is, but the fact that we ask it, now I want to bring to the point of macam the difference of how different the difference it makes when you do ask versus you don't ask. So when you do ask kan, some of them will tersentak and they will just macam, okay, I'll change something. Tapi
they are more conscious lah.
So how to put it, we don't have to be so macam so righteous, I would say. So macam nitty-gritty. You don't need to do that. You can just ask macam, is it halal? Because I have to ask for me, right? And then because can I bring in another point, Ustazah? Which is quite this is something that happened dekat eatery outside lah, because one of the Muslim business owners kan, they actually ask, they were sharing with me a particular situation where the how do I put it, the consumer can see how they prepare their waffles, for example.
Okay.
So the consumer can see how they prepare their waffles at the shop. So and they saw that they use this spray, which is like the butter spray for
the grease to
for the
grease it.
something. I don't really something like that. To the point that they ask like macam, hey, what grease do you use? You know, what brand is that? And to ask a Muslim person who is making it lah, kan? So he felt a little offended lah. You get what I mean?
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
So did he answer?
So no, he just showed like that lah. This is what he yeah. So and macam ni, he said that the consumer was really in at it lah, and she was just like, okay, what you use is not halal ke tak? Then I'm like, aduh. So that's why one of the reasons why the Muslim owner actually decided to macam sign up with Halal Food, and then so that they can have decal, they can have stuff like that, which basically says that I guarantee the food I sell is halal. You don't have to ask.
Yeah.
So it kind of stops the kind of attention. Yeah, but again, if you want to do that, what's the adab? is that like macam rude and like kira tak beradab if you were to like ask to that kind of nitty-gritty?
I think if the person who's prepare it is a Muslim, we give him the benefit of the doubt lah. That he's a Muslim, he knows what to do. Unless it's obviously something which is not halal, then it's like maybe you know something like wine or something, you know, then you should ask lah, why are you using this inside here? But sometimes we don't. I mean, there are a lot of things lah. If you see like unwashed eggs and all that, people ask me about unwashed eggs. Ustazah, does it affect the halalness of the whole thing? You know, that kind of thing. Because of, you know, sometimes in social media, you watch one video, you get affected, then you start to think about the food you eat, then you start to question. Then sometimes you know, this can affect people's business and all that. Like what I say, everybody has their own knowledge of things. We respect everybody's understanding of what is halal. We are not trying to change what is halal, what is haram. It's very clear. Al-halal bayin wal haram bayin. It's very clear. But at the same time, we give each other the respect. Like, I go to your house, I don't question the food that you give me. Okay, I don't even assume. I know that what you give me have to be halal. So personally also, Jooms, I also eat for Deepavali and all that. I go to my Hindu friend's house, and they are very particular. They have halal meat only, and they cook. They are that particular. So when they cook, I actually eat their food in their house. So doesn't matter, you know. There are other people who be like, I cannot do that. Okay, ahlan wa sahlan. I'm not asking you, cannot impose on you. No. If I say can means you also must. For me, I'm comfortable enough doing it. I'm comfortable enough going to my, my non-Muslim friend's house to eat. It doesn't have to be, you have to be comfortable with that too. So I think that's when we have this kind of respect lah. We have done everything also halal tak. But I must say, Jooms, I'm a bit particular about something. I'm a bit particular about candies and chocolates.
Candy.
Especially if my my parents or my in-laws bring the kids out, or they get these goodie bags and all that. That's when I start looking. Halal tak. Because there's so many out there which is not halal, but sometimes when you put it into goodie bag, and then we as a Muslim, we give the goodie bag to people will assume semua halal. So that's when I'm also quite particular. Personally, if I know this thing is not halal or I have shubha, I would remove it. I will not let my kids eat lah. And I'll tell them that why it's not halal, why you can't eat it and everything.
Okay. For you guys, if you guys have any questions, you can just type it in the comments, or you can type it in the question box. Okay. Because in a while, I'm gonna ask Ustazah to give her final reminders on this topic, and then we might do Q&A if there are if there are interesting questions for me to pick. But right now I feel that all the questions asked have been answered, and we are pretty much open about this. Yeah. And I think if there's anything I want to also remind again, like, I want to reiterate again that verifications kan, like the things that you see and read in the media kan, macam let's say the verification is just no pork, or the verification is no pork no lard, or the verification is halal ingredients only. Again, these are all just verification where verifications that is, let's say if taken is true, that is what it is. It is not a halal certifier marker. It's not a halal marker in fact. It is for you to basically make your own decisions on it. Yeah. And an app like Halal Food Hunt, for example, it basically makes it out in the open. Like for example, if I as Jum eats at a restaurant that is kira no pork no lard, right? And then you will know that I have done my due diligence. You don't know exactly what I'm eating there, but when I eat there, I'm making that choice. That is my choice, right? You don't need to make the assumption that I am eating there because I think it is halal. You get what I mean? So you don't have to follow me. You can make your own decisions based on verifications which are widely available on our app lah. Okay? Okay, Ustazah, there's one more question. This question I always get because tadi kan cakap like we want to make sure that we, how to say, when in this line of halal verifications that Halal Food Hunt does, I actually want to make sure also that the sacred trust between Muslims is kept. So between Muslims, I actually tak nak tanya banyak sangat lah. Because I just say macam if you guys are selling halal food, you're responsible for it, I will market it full stop. I won't macam question so much unless there is something very obvious to me lah, macam depan mata, like I already know this product ada alcohol, I'm not going to endorse this product. Yeah, so but yeah, so between Muslims, I don't want to ask so much. I just accept it that you jaga your adab as and you jaga that your food is halal, you serve it to me, I'm going to accept it as halal because I want to keep this sacred trust between Muslims. Tapi kan Ustazah, even when I give this kind of explanation, there is this other question that is asked, because now we live in the world of social media where what people practice is most often out in the open because they are updating their social media statuses and all that. So there's this question from Dini. He says, what if it's a Muslim-owned restaurant but the person is not a practicing Muslim? And it's obvious. When we say not a practicing Muslim, okay, in my head kan, at first when I just baru graduate sekolah all that, I thought not practicing Muslim just tak solat lah. That is as far as it goes. But apparently when I talk further to the people who are asking these questions, they are saying that, not practicing Muslims means they have their own, macam they drink lah, they do things which are obviously, makes them very obviously not practicing on social media. So that gives doubt to the person who is now deciding to eat at this Muslim-owned eatery or not. Yes. What is your comment on that, Ustazah? Okay. How do we macam? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, it doesn't matter who prepare it, whether it's a Muslim, whether it's a non-Muslim, whether it's a practicing Muslim, whether it's not a practicing Muslim, whether the person solat, tak solat, the person do sins. You can never get a perfect person to prepare a food. If you want, then Jibril, Mikael, the angels have to come down to prepare the food for us. So there's no one perfect lah. Everyone is like that. So if the person is obviously not a practicing Muslim, like for example, like he drinks or he go clubbing or something, and then but he sells food and all that, then that goes back to us as consumers. What is he selling in the first place? If he's selling something like he helps his mother make a epok, nothing to do with whatever that he's doing, then that should be okay. There's nothing to do with whatever that he's doing, right? But if let's say he's drinking at his own place, at the place where he cook, and then that comes the shubha, what if he drinks and then, together, there's the same, he used the same hand to actually use to prepare the food and all that. So it creates there's you know that okay, it's not really halal lah. He's doing some things that that because alcohol is najis, alcohol is impurity. So when you wash it off, it's okay. So when he wash it off, he come back, he help his mother to make epok-epok. Has nothing to do with the alcohol, because alcohol is just like normal urine, feces that we just wash, is gone. So it's so it really depends on where what the person is doing, whether what he or she is doing has something to do with the food that they are prepared. But to me personally, I won't take it as something that to hinder me. All right. For example, if someone comes and that person is someone who I feel like, Ustazah, I make for you something, I'm okay with that. I don't judge the person. Okay, Alhamdulillah, you give me, you're a Muslim, I take it. Doesn't matter. Okay. But of course if the person do black magic and all that, then I also don't eat I also throw the food. Yeah, that one at least not practicing Muslim doing something else.
Yeah, actually black magic is another thing that I might want to touch, but probably a future topic, Zaza. Not today, not today. Because I also know of stories of pelaris and all that's happening.
That one I will throw. No halal, whatever. Once the moment I know the person practice, I'll just throw it away. Without I'm someone who I don't like food wastage. But the moment I know the food is something which I shouldn't consume, I'll just throw it away.
Okay, over here, I just want to take a step because this is a really, really sensitive and touchy topic. I want to reiterate that by knowing that someone is not a practicing Muslim, we're not judging them based on whatever. Actually, to be honest, I personally do not care whether another person is a practicing Muslim or not. Because it is your own pasal lah. You know, it's your own choices. You know, you deal with God yourself, because I also deal with God myself. You know, but what I care about is right now the food that is being served to me lah. Yeah. So if basically there is something that I see or I know that that makes me doubt that the food being served is halal, right? We are judging the food based on the knowledge we know. We're not judging the person. Yeah. So like what Ustazah mentioned just now, like let's say you know that this person macam main pelaris and all that, then you know you doubt that the food is 100% halal, or macam you think that is already shubha already, because it has something to do with it, because all these macam things that additives they put inside the food so that macam the food sell better ke, stuff like that kan. It actually literally has got to do with the ingredients. They do some stuff to the ingredients and they put it inside the food. So whether you as Muslim, you as a consumer want to consume it or not. Yeah, so you make that choice whether you want it or not. Then the other issue is yang tadi some comments here are mentioning macam whether they are drinking, whether there's any drinking activity in the eatery. Actually, Muslim or not Muslim, when there's drinking in the eatery kan, I doubt the food lah, because you are drinking at the place that you prepare the food, you see. Yeah, so over there, then there is some doubt there, and I think it is the onus is all up to me whether I want to choose to eat there or not. And whether I choose to walk away, I choose to eat there, is my own choice, just like it's your own personal choice for whoever that's listening. I hope that clears up some of the question that is now like really streaming in from the comments. Yeah. Okay. And I hope I addressed it well lah, because it's really touchy lah, and on top of that I also feel like macam I choose not to doubt too much when it comes to Muslim owner, because I have met like macam, for example, I give a very good example of Fat Papas. Is it Fat Papa? I remember seeing Sheikh Haikal, the owner of Fat Papa kan. He did this interview. So I'm not putting words in his mouth. I literally saw an interview somewhere in a national news. He actually said that, you know, what I eat is my choice. Tapi if I want to open a restaurant and I want to serve it to people, then I want to make sure that the eatery is halal and serving halal food so that my friends can eat. So when he says things like that, it gives me the confidence lah that no matter what they as individuals practice, whether they choose to eat halal for themselves or whether they choose to eat or not for themselves, they choose to jaga other people punya choices, and that is something that I love about it. That macam, yeah, so it's something that I choose to hang on to because it gives me faith in the community, it gives me faith in humanity, that even though no matter what choices you make for yourself, when it comes to serving other people, you choose better for other people. You know, you choose, if you know this person wants to eat halal, you make sure that okay, the food they serve is halal. Okay, so I hope it answers that query. Okay. Any other particular? What if there's no halal logo but the ingredients inside are not dubious? Yes, it's not dubious, right, Ustazah? I think I can answer this, but I want Ustazah to answer it.
Okay, you answer.
Do you want to answer? I answer.
No, you answer. It's okay.
What if there is no halal logo but the ingredients inside are not dubious? Okay, so I would say go ahead lah, because to you it's not dubious, right? That means you are clear, right? Then you don't doubt it, right? Then you go ahead lah, because you don't really, I mean, your life is not determined. What you eat is, how to say, you don't really, doesn't have logo doesn't mean it's not halal. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so if you are clear, you can eat it. Actually, last time in 2015, I used to hold classes like this, you know. Literally in the class, I would take different barang-barang from the supermarket, and then I will teach everyone to read the ingredients, and then I will help them decide whether it's halal or not for themselves, whether or not there's halal logo. So yeah, I actually taught this in 2015. I've discontinued the class since.
Why are you discontinuing? You should start again now. Online class. I'll join.
Easy, yeah. Because in that class, I will actually teach you macam if there's this particular ingredient and then the name is like this, you can tell whether the sauce is a plant-based sauce or animal-based sauce. So you will know whether there is reason to doubt this ingredient or not. Yeah.
So that's a code for everything, right?
Yes, correct. And there is of course shortcuts for you to remember things. So I will tell you, okay, so this particular ingredient, there's no reason to doubt it. So you can actually just go ahead and eat it lah, because I would take it as halal. Even when I was doing halal desktop auditing, if certain ingredients come out, it's like, yeah, we know what it is and we just move it forward as halal. Yeah. But certain ingredients, there's reason to doubt. So if there's reason to doubt, I'll tell you what the reasons are. Then I will explain macam the dubiousness, how heavy is the shubha in this category. So is it really, really heavy, macam it's a high risk ingredient, or is it like shubha but not so risky? Right.
Masya Allah, you should have it at that time lah. Joms, it's a good course.
I don't know. Saya tak tahu dia.
You know, educate us to become more responsible consumers, confident consumers. We know what we are eating. That's good. Seriously. Yes, start back.
So
Someone
said. Inshallah, when I have time, I'm busy. Yeah, so when those ingredients, so that's why macam my students actually will go ahead, and they are bakers also, because they orang need to make decisions for their own baking barang-barang kan, for when they want to serve their customers. So they use that to make the decisions lah. Okay, I want to take one last question only, and then after that I'll let Ustazah do her closing remarks for this topic. And then if you guys got anything else, you can comment, and you guys can also feedback to us, and then I will actually plan for future IG live sessions, okay? Okay, last question. What about those hawker centers wherein the drink shop is only one and they serve beer? Is it okay to buy like Milo, kopi and juice?
Jeng jeng. So is it okay, Joms?
Jeng jeng.
What do you think?
I'm not halal.
Like it goes back to why we were like I've seen this a lot. Basically when I go to these kind of shops, when there's the only drink shop, what I do is I refrain from buying things like things that have to be made in the glasses lah, because you see, we do not know how the things are washed. You have to understand the alcohol is najis, moderate najis. That means you have to be washed with water. But if you mix it with water and other cups, then the whole thing becomes mutanajis. The water whole become najis, alright? Something that you can't see lah. Okay, but if you use like urine or feces, can you imagine feces? You mix it with water, the whole water becomes feces water. It's disgusting. So it becomes mutanajis. So you do not know how that particular cup or particular glass is washed, right? So I refrain from buying things like that. I usually buy things like in a can or in a bottle. So that's okay lah. That's more like, to me, I refrain from going to the shubha. I take something which I'm confident of that is halal.
Yay! That's somewhat my answer, so I think.
Is that
Okay,
what
Ustazah.
your opinion also? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, now that you mentioned that thing about the glasses, then now I have something to say about it lah. Because last time to me I tak, I
Just drink lah,
didn't
kopi.
really
Kopi
macam
kau.
care too much. Yeah, I mean, if it's a cup that has never held, I mean, it's not a beer cup. It's not a cup that they serve it in alcoholic drinks. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you
So,
can. I mean, if you really want. Because you know why? Jooms, I mean, you see the cutleries outside. You want to talk about this, you have to talk about cutleries, another level already. It's very difficult, you know, unless you bring your own cutleries lah.
Okay, but I do want to share something. I do talk to I talk to who's that? I talked to Denise from Diana's Kitchen. So she was sharing, she sells prawn noodles. So dia cakap dia ada, that time when I talked to her, she only had 3 lah. Now she got more eatery. I think now she got 4 outlets. So she said that if she opened she's a Muslim convert that sells prawn noodles kan. So she said that if she sells a prawn noodle at a all Muslim coffee shop, it's fine. Right? She doesn't have any anxiety whatsoever. But her first shop is actually in Toa Payoh Hawker Centre, and that is a hawker centre. It's not an all Muslim hawker centre tau. So what happens is that her cutleries is being used. It's not so and then macam let's say you have Chinese family and non-Muslim family sitting together. One person buy the prawn noodles, then everyone else on the same table buy from non-halal shop. So they will use the cutleries and eat non-halal food because they kept together as a family kan. When you're family kan, you makan macam itu kan. So this actually gave her anxiety and all that. So she didn't tell them to stop. I'm just sharing how she manages this at a hawker centre punya set, in a multicultural society, right? So she either tells them to stop or give them a plastic fork and spoon, which she doesn't have to serve to, or what she does now, actually she serves to all her cutleries all the time, every day.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah, this
Oh,
shelf lah. I don't
mashallah.
know. Yeah, so she said I don't know how many of those 2 bottles that she has gone through already, but she does serve to her cutlery semua. Yeah, every day.
But that give her the assurance. She feel like calm, right? Like doing it.
Yeah, she feel calm. Yeah, that's right. And then but that is because when it comes to Diana's Kitchen, she is a Muslim owner. Therefore, she can jaga this part about cleanliness. Tapi when it's a drink stall and it's a non-Muslim drink stall, then you're not too sure, right? How they wouldn't know all these 2 things, right? So in that case, I would actually buy the only drinks that are from the vessels, from the cup that doesn't hold alcoholic beverages, or I'll buy the cups in the canned drinks, you know. Then that should be fine. Yeah. Okay, Ustazah, do you have any closing remarks for this topic? Because this is a really hot topic.
No, I don't have, but I really enjoyed myself. I think I've learned a lot also from you, mashallah. And alhamdulillah, I think hopefully like whatever that I think we want to get, the idea is we seek the knowledge for ourselves and then we apply it confidently. I think we must be very confident Muslims. And then we shouldn't be like influencer tu buat ni, dia buat ni, I want to do that, I want to do this. I think we should have our own stand. Let others have their own decision also. If they want to do certain things, we respect that. And we don't look down on people who actually choose to eat at other eateries that we feel like is not that halal to us lah. I think we are staying in a multiracial, I don't know, not multi also. We are just, you know, we shouldn't judge like that towards our brothers and sisters. Then halal will become a very interesting thing, inshallah, and everybody can enjoy. But so alhamdulillah lah. Thank you very much, Jooms, for having me here and having this discussion. Very nice to have you. And your son is not here now.
No, now he's not. I'm gonna pick him up after this.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, Ustazah. Thank you for all the guidance. And inshallah, after this, we will be putting up this conversation also on Spotify. So in case you guys want to listen, you guys can also. And if you guys want to support this session, because I'm only running Halal Confessions for Ramadan, and this is the first time I'm actually running this for Ramadan and once every week. And I really need feedback from you guys if we should continue it after Ramadan, and if we do, what are the topics that you guys are interested to have us break down. The concept of Halal Confessions has always been me as the food expert, because I selalu makan, so I am the food expert. And also someone from the Ustazah fraternity to give us guidance on how we should navigate this whole halal food and choices, because kita ada banyak choices right now. Okay. Yes, and we'll also be breaking this down into digestible takeaways, and we'll be posting out on our social media as well. So just follow us on Instagram lah. Okay. Okay, that's what I have. Thank you so much, Ustazah. Thank you. Selamat berbuka.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Same to you. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'll see you guys in the next ID Live.